Hello, everyone. So, for anyone who's new, my name is Ravi and I work as an identity architect. This is a channel which is run by a couple of IAM professionals who are passionate to bring about a change or a transformation in the IAM industry in India and across the globe. So, this year, we as a group took a resolution of helping the IAM community grow here in India as well as across the globe by putting a small 1% effort from our side, where we started with a podcast series where experts from different industries have shared their journey, and we are excited to bring in more experts. Then we started with some one-on-one counseling session. We went on to doing some pre-IAM session and many other working group around different domains of IAM and different topics. Here we are with a Zero to Hero course on IAM, where we have started with access management, covering topics like ping identity tools, Okta. Then we'll move on to the IGA series and PAM series. Eventually, the goal is everyone by the end of the year should be able to have at least some good knowledge on all the tools around IAM, which will enable anyone to perform better in their roles as well as benefit organizations to deliver better quality work for their clients. This session happens live every weekend starting 8:30 PM IST and is absolutely free of cost because our community believes that the only thing you need to learn any tool is time and effort from your side. So from here on, we start the day one and you'll have the day two, day three, and videos coming in every alternate 2 to 3 days. And as this is a recording of a live session, you'll hear a lot of interaction happening between different members, question Q&As and all. Please feel free to share your comments so that we can improve our content further. And important thing is this course is designed for anyone who's already working in IAM or someone who's very new and really want to start off their journey into IAM. So take out your notebooks, start making notes, and enjoy the session. The first question is, what is IAM? Any inputs? What do you mean by IAM?
Identity access management.
Okay, very good. That is the first one, identity and access management. Now, let's break this down further. What is identity?
Who we are
Uh,
and what we can do.
What we can do is access.
Access and identity, who we are,
Let's start with identity. What is an identity?
who we are,
Okay,
how someone can recognize us.
okay, good, Vibor.
the
Next,
unique address. The unique address.
yes,
Something like
Nowadays identity could be anything like any server or any device which is joined in domain, so that is identity. And it can have any kind of PII information like my name is Ish, right? So it's an identity
yes,
and it is personally recognizable. Like I could have something like unique Aadhaar card number, and that is the identity.
absolutely. Thank
We
you
can
very
tag it
much.
as human and non-human identities.
Yes, very good. Next,
who you are and what you are accessing.
yeah, what you're accessing comes under the access side, but who you are, right? So identity overall is yours, computers, servers, and broadly you can categorize them into humans, non-humans, right? And now under non-human also you have machine identities, a new terminology that is coming up. Okay, so anything that you do, accounts, service accounts, everything is identity. Okay, now the process, so I mean, just imagine how broad it is getting, right? So a process where eventually you're making sure that all these identities, okay, are getting right set of access at the right place. Let's start. Right access to the right user, okay, at the right place, right reason, and right time. This is everything that you can term as identity and access manager. Imagine I want access, okay, to an application. So you can simply ask these questions. Who are you? I'm a user. What do you need? You need access. When do you need? Why do you need? Which location you need for? Eventually, when you're managing all of this, right resource. Thank you very much. So, right reason, right time, right access, right user, and right resource. This is not right place. This is identity and access management in a nutshell. Now, your whatever you do from here, it is basically asking the right set of questions and saying, okay, you need access, what level of access, when do you need? And that is where the concepts like access management, authentication, authorization, just in time provisioning. I mean, again, for people who are new, don't panic, but these terms gradually move from here, okay, or grow from here. Fine? Fine? Now, let's talk about, and I really want to understand your perspective, right? I know you guys are working from a long time. Like, why do an organization need IAM? Can you tell me like few reasons? Let's start with number one. Why do you think organization need IAM?
User provisioning.
Okay.
I think like organization should be aware of what all identities are there in their network and what kind of access they are having. Like if they have over access, they could exploit it, right?
Eventually,
And
I mean, again, the concept of IAM, right? Give right set of access to right set of people to achieve that functionality. That is what you're saying, right? Ish?
yes,
Okay.
like if a person has an admin rights who doesn't need it, right? So
Mhm.
if that account gets exploited, that person would have, the exploiter would have admin access as well.
Hmm. Yes, that is right access to right user. Okay. What next?
Streamlining the entire user journey in an organization and
Okay.
scaling up when the organization increases in size. So it-
Streamlining journey. What is streamlining journey? Shubhankar, can you explain it for everyone?
when I say streamlining means, so if we have a small organization where the number of users are less, in that case, the operations or the way the users are onboarded is quite different when it is compared to a larger organization where hundreds of users are joining every day and hundreds of users are moving or leaving to a different part in the organization.
Okay.
So when we utilize IAM for that, especially the identity management aspect,
Mhm.
where we use tools like SailPoint or Savient,
Mhm.
it helps in automating the entire user journey, like whether the user is joining an organization, whether a user is moving in an organization, or whether the user is being offboarded or being deprovisioned in an organization.
Okay.
That entire process, instead of being done manually by the HRs, is being taken care of by the identity management software or the tool that we are using.
Okay. Okay. So you're making sure that anyone who joins or leaves the organization and time that they are staying in the organization, all their functioning, right? The joining, moving, all of that is managed centrally and in the right way,
Yes.
right? Okay. Okay. Any further? Any other input? I see.
Yeah, Ravi. The
Yes.
main reason for implementing IAM in an organization is security.
Okay.
So, like we are discussing, right? Right set of people getting right access to the right resource at the right time.
Mhm.
If it's exploited, so it will be a huge security issue, right?
Okay. So
So
that is
that is the main purpose.
the first why that I'm actually looking for. Security. What you guys said is what we can achieve through IAM. We can achieve user provisioning through IAM. We can achieve
Source
people
and single sign on.
single sign on. These are features of IAM. But again, I'm still asking why do organization invest so much? Right? One reason is definitely to improve their security. But what is the other most important reason that organization invests in IAM?
Compliance.
The main reason, right, is security and compliance. Now, why compliance? I'll tell you an interesting story. But not every organization will simply think that, okay, I have to improve my security, and then they will spend thousands of dollars. Have you seen an organization, even if, example, if organizations were so much enthusiastic about security, right, there would not have been any breaches. Because you'll see simple breaches are happening nowadays. Some patches, because of some leakage of data, some companies are getting issues, the data is getting leaked. Every now and then, every day, the data is getting leaked. if organization were so much concerned about security, the first thing that they would do is put all the security tools. Do you agree with me or not with that point?
Yes.
Right? So now, what if I tell you that if there is a security breach, there could be one or two complications, like there could be a ransom that the hackers might be asking, little bit of kind of brand image issues and all of that. But when you talk about compliance, there are different compliance like GDPR, which is specific in Europe, right? If you are using data which belongs to a user which is in Europe, GDPR compliance comes into picture. You have HIPAA, mostly related to medical records. Then you have PCI DSS. Okay, let's not go too deep into it. Okay, so these are the reasons. Now, if I tell you that there is a auditor that will come and they will ensure that all of this based on the audit, right? They'll check whether you are compliant on GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS every 6 months or not. This is where organizations really have to follow, because if they don't follow, right, all of the whole thing, like if they don't follow the compliance, whether it's GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, there is an audit that happens. If they fail the audit, there are huge penalty that they have to pay. Definitely there is a reputational thing is anyways there, right? So in order, and they may lose some license, right? License, for example, if they are selling pharmaceutical medicines, or if they are selling some retail goods, and if they are not compliant either with user managing user data or other, they will simply lose business. Okay. So this is where organizations are forced to have a tool which gives them compliance, and this is where you have tools like, again, SailPoint, Ping, Okta, all of these tools, right? They simply say that, okay, you want to ensure that you want to get away from all this compliance. Our tool is compliant with GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, everything. And most of the time nowadays, if you see in Western countries or in different projects, you see, right, they are only bringing a tool to ensure that they follow the compliance. Security, user provisioning, that is the feature. They may use it, they may not use it. Even if they have a SailPoint or Okta or Ping, sometimes their processes are still poor. It is because there is a compliance. If they are selling a good, if they have a customer in a particular location, they have to be compliant with these regulations, or else they lose the business. They will lose the license to even sell or do anything. That is forcing them to bring these tools. And eventually, the reason why I'm saying there is a growing market, because every country is very strict with compliance nowadays. They are simply like, if you don't follow, you cannot sell. And gradually, everything is even, all of that is coming to India with the new data protection law here in India. That is also compliance. So, Indian companies, other companies, and that's where you'll see since 2015, 16, right? Almost around that, IAM is just growing exponentially. It is just growing crazily. And it will grow, because it's not like in the next 5 year, 10 years, the compliance is going to go off, right? So more and more companies will need these tools, hence there is a growing demand of tools that people are building. Like some of the lesser known tools are there, because again, company don't want to pay huge amount to Okta, Ping and SailPoint, right? So there are other tools also, which is less in terms of number, in terms of price, and eventually they are also following compliance. So the market of IAM is eventually growing, and it will grow exponentially. And this is the best time where even if you know one tool, I keep saying this, even if you know SailPoint, next 7 years you are sorted. You don't have to learn Okta, Ping, SailPoint, everything. Be an expert in identity, be an expert in access, be an expert in privilege access, till you reach a 7-8 year experience where you become a senior. And after that, try to move around, become an architect, become a specialist, become a lead manager. That's how you grow from there. Okay. So I'll pause here for a couple of minutes. Any question, queries? Was this helpful? Did you guys understand? Was I too fast? Please share your comments. You can put it on the chat also. That's fine. If you're not comfortable speaking.
It's good information, Ravi. Doing working, like regularly, like I don't tend to, like attend this training. And really, it's a resourceful thing to do. Take out a break from your work and at least attend these sessions where you gain more knowledge. It's a good session. It's a good start.
Thank you, Bhushan. Yes, new faces, new voices. I mean, I just want to hear, guys. I mean, is this something that is giving you knowledge, or is it helpful? Is it worth that you've left something and attending this session?
Yes, Ravi, it is definitely helpful and worth.
Okay, thank you very much, Shiva.
Ravi, the compliance, it will be basically the requirement of a company or the client, right?
Compliance are, for example, if I tell you, you want to open a bank, right?
Mm.
Definitely RBI is there. They will have their own set of rules and regulations, right? Similarly, if you want to sell something, if you want to do business, eventually, whatever you do, whichever business, tell me where you don't manage users. Everywhere you manage users and identities, right? So, the moment you manage user and identities, compliance will come behind you. If you are managing users from EU, they will say GDPR. If you're managing users and patient records from US, HIPAA. If you're managing this credit card and all of this, PCI DSS. Okay. By
So,
default,
sir,
and there is, yes.
sir,
So,
compliance is basically that obeying
law,
to the obeying to the
regulation,
law regulation, like okay.
bus, right? Compliance is regulation, law that you have to stick to if you want to run a business successfully and grow.
This means we have to do, you have to follow this, otherwise it can't be done.
Simple. I mean, again, companies are doing it, right? Companies are doing it. Sometimes companies do not follow these compliance. That is where audit comes into picture, right? There are external audits, internal audits, and even auditing is a career opportunity for a lot of people. There are audits that is happening regularly in 6 months, 1 year, and that is where they come and check. It's like you see raids, right, happening in different parts of India and countries. It's basically a known raid. Like companies have been informed that okay, there is a personnel from this particular company. They will come and check whether you are compliant or not, because your business deals with users from EU. So we'll check and make sure that you have GDPR compliant. And if maybe they may be running without compliance and all of that for so many years, but now as it is becoming strict, people will simply, I mean, they'll do an audit and they will fail. After that, the journey starts. That is where IM becomes their primary strategy in 2024, 2023, 2025, like that. Suddenly, you'll see, right, in your company, why people are facilitating or talking about IM so much. Your leaders will start talking about cybersecurity strategy, IM strategy, identity strategy, because somewhere there is a audit fail that has happened. That is one reason. Second, somehow they've realized that okay, compliance is an important thing, and cybersecurity and identity plays a key role. So let's include it. So these are the companies where they are proactive. They want to do it upfront. But there are a lot of companies who have failed compliance and now they want to include these tools. And that is where you'll see a lot of companies want to hire, right? Or buy this tool. That's where they'll go to different consultancies like Deloitte, EY, PwC, Accenture, and they will provide them consulting service. Which tool they should buy, how many resources they would need, what is the support they would need, they would do. And when these happens, that means those companies have got a new client, right? And this is where you tend to see openings a lot. And that is why nowadays, if you are seeing openings, it is because companies are gradually moving towards understanding it. Okay, the need of a IAM tool. Any questions?
So the IAM, will it be like relevant to the ping or Savient, everything? Or is there like a similar to those?
These tools that you just said, if we go back, these are, so if I talk about IAM, right? Let me erase all of this. Let me erase this.
The IAM is the technology and the tools to implement or to achieve IAM.
IAM is a domain.
Domain. Okay.
Like you have cloud. What is cloud? Is it a tool?
No.
What is cloud? What is AWS?
Instead
AWS is
of
a cloud
maintaining the
provider.
server, instead of maintaining the servers on premises, so
Mhm.
we are relying on those, right?
Yes. So AWS is a cloud provider, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
cloud is the technology itself. Similarly, IAM is the technology itself. SailPoint is a IAM service provider,
Okay.
like AWS.
Okay.
Okay. You have AWS, Google, Azure, there's that, right? Similarly, you have tools like SailPoint, Okta, Ping. Everyone eventually providing features that supports IAM. And IAM has different set of features, which we'll anyways talk in our further classes. Okay.
Okay.
So, yes. Any further questions?
Ravi, does Active Directory doesn't follow these compliance rules?
Yes, they do follow. But Active Directory is always there inside the organization. So by default, like Microsoft has stick to the principles, right? So most of the time, these compliances, right, do not kind of, what would I say, do not affect AD. First thing is,
Mhm.
AD stores your data, right? And
Right.
it is anyways compliant. But the moment your data starts to travel, data is in motion, right? AD cannot control that. It has a limited functionality of just saying you store, you come with a filter, search users, do your job, right? So it is
Mhm.
storing. But the moment user data travels to and sits inside SailPoint, will go and sit inside Ping Federate, authentication is happening, it is traveling over the internet. This is where it matters. Like okay, fine, you're authenticating using Ping Federate, but what are you doing with that data? How is the data stored? AD, we all know it is stored. It is an on-prem system. It is stored, and Microsoft has a lot of framework to support it. So initially, I would say even AD would have gone through the scrutiny, right? But even now, I think when I was working initially as a AD administrator, that time again audit used to happen. Okay,
Right.
audit used to happen, and there used to be a long list of kind of screenshots and all of that that we had to present. Okay, eventually making sure that AD follows all the structure. So now we have discussed about why an organization needs IAM, what are the different domains in IAM. Okay, now let's go to the basic fundamental. Fundamental number one, where this is basically a principle that every IAM tool follows. The first principle is CIA. Can anyone tell me what is CIA? I know a lot of you will be knowing it.
Confidentiality,
Confidentiality,
integrity, durability.
Yes, very good. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay. So, what is confidentiality?
Basically, it is used to, I mean, if an organization is having, then that organization used to secure the data, which should be keep the secrets of their organization or the client secrets should be
Yeah.
confidential.
Keep it in a secure location, right?
Uh,
It should not go out of hand. Yes. And
protecting the dignity of any particular item like a data or user.
yes. Again, it deals with security. Okay. Securing your data, securing user. Okay. What is integrity?
It's not changed. You can
Data
catch
is
it.
not manipulated.
Yes. Non
Data is
manipulated.
not tampered.
Tampered. Yes. Right. Now, I mean, I'll just give you an example. Imagine, okay, let's talk about availability. What is availability?
Data should be available all the
It should be
time.
available to the network.
Able to access.
To correct person.
So, whenever you want to access data, it should be available to you, right? Always available. Now, let's talk about e-commerce website. Okay, e-commerce website. So, when you think about an e-commerce website, which out of the three principle is most important to them? Confidentiality, integrity, or availability? Topmost priority. I know everything is important, but what do you think is the most important? Say example. Let's see. What is your voting? How many are availability? How many integrity? How many confidentiality? Yeah, put short form. Also, that is fine.
We can choose only one, or we can choose multiple.
No, what is the most important thing for them?
Okay.
See, everything is important. I agree with you. But if they have to choose one, right? In case of disaster, what will they choose? Integrity, availability, integrity. Okay. There are availabilities also. Hmm, okay. Fine. Now, anyone who said confidentiality in case of disaster. Okay. Good. Confidentiality and integrity, just one could be. Okay. So now I have a question for people who said integrity. Okay. Why do you think integrity? Let's remove the disaster term. Why do you think integrity is most important?
It should be integrated because if you keep the data not in a proper manner, so anyone can be able to access or manipulate, right?
Yes. So Bikrant, Deb mentioned a very right point that integrity means the trueness of the data. For example, you log into, you find anything, right? You find a camera worth 20,000. Okay. And then you see that the same camera is available in 5,000 or other tools. You go to market, it is 5,000. So definitely there is an integrity issue there, right? Let me just mute. Mm, okay, so let me share back again. Share whiteboard. Okay, so definitely there is this integrity issue. They cannot show wrong data, right? Definitely that is one of the thing. Now let's go to availability or let's go to confidentiality. Why do you think confidentiality? Again, I'm just explaining you what integrity is for now. We have still not come to the conclusion. Why confidentiality is the most important thing that they would consider? Any comments?
I voted for integrity, but
Because
government has confidentiality. In case it's missed out, they will be financially uh,
yeah,
fined for those breaches and things. That's one thing.
if you're the same e-commerce website,
Mm-hmm.
someone is purchasing one product,
Mm-hmm.
and if the user information you're not keeping the confidentiality,
Mm-hmm.
that may data like kind of transaction details and kind of user details, it may breach,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much. So, confidentiality is basically keeping the customer's data safe. Okay. Let's put it highly customers' data safe. Okay. Then you have integrity, ensuring that the data is right data is being portrayed. Okay. Availability. Can someone say why they have selected availability?
to the right persons.
Right data.
It's available at the right time.
Right.
Okay.
Like we have a sale on, right?
Mhm.
So while we are trying to order something, the user is trying to order something
Mhm.
at the very right moment, he clicks, it adds the thing to the mark card. And after, while doing the purchase, the server is down, it's
Mhm.
not available. So it is a disaster.
Okay. Could lead to disaster, could lead to some loss of user money and all of that, right? If it is not
Right.
available. Fine. Any further comments? I see there was some.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bhushan.
Ravi, just want to add on to that.
Mhm.
See, availability is most important on the e-commerce side because if I want to buy or purchase anything, first I look at the product. I mean, if the product is available, then the integrity and confidentiality step in second and third.
Mhm.
If I'm buying a share or a stock, on a different website, I look at integrity on the website.
Mhm.
If I see a different price on another website, a competitive website,
Mhm.
then there is a differential on the integrity. In case if I'm doing an online transaction and I transfer 50,000 rupees to my friend, so I expect confidentiality first on the banking website. Whereas in a retail
E-commerce.
website, I look at e-commerce website. I look at availability first, and like on a share market site, I look at the integrity as a first.
Okay.
Those are my thoughts.
No, that's absolutely good thoughts, Bhushan. It is a good perspective for others also, right? I mean, yes, this is what you would think that, okay, for some websites, confidentiality is important. And you're absolutely right. Okay, that for different websites, there is different factors they would choose. Okay.
Yeah.
So any further inputs from anyone on availability?
Basically, even if data is kept confidential and integrity,
Mhm.
it should be maintained, and unless if it is useful, then it will be useless, right? So, and
Mm,
because it is available to the organization, the customer who they serve, mainly. Yeah.
It
okay.
it means how to avail to the users within the organization.
Okay. Okay. So see, these are,
Availability, maybe
yeah,
like
sure.
a customer, his search patterns, his buying patterns on a e-commerce website. That kind of data availability might help that customer to find more precise items in the future.
Yes, by making the right data available. That somewhere partially comes as a part of integrity also, giving you the right data. Okay. But any further questions? Any input? Sorry, not questions.
But like keeping data redundancy, if any error occur in the data server one, so
Mhm.
there will make a backup, data backup.
That is where availability helps you.
Yes.
If it is not available, you have a backup, right? So that is a
Yes.
process. But why would they keep availability as most top priority? Why do you think? If you have voted for availability.
I think availability is most important in all the e-commerce website because if the website itself is not visitable, so they would lose data, they would lose business,
Mhm.
they would lose money, and people won't be coming back at their site because that's down, that's not available.
Okay.
So that is the priority of the business to earn money.
Business loss. Okay. Right. So
Availability also impact direct proportional to the performance.
performance, yes. If it is not performing well, people again business loss, right? Eventually. So I must say, I mean, there is a really good set of folks we have here on the forum, and thank you very much, everyone, again. So these are real good answers, right? Now, see, this is what I have learned, and the overall objective is to share my perspective. There will be other experts who will be sharing their perspective. So when you talk about the most important, right? Now let's do a little bit of reverse engineering, and this is how you should start thinking when you are working in a business. What you all just said was from a customer's perspective, right? If you are using it. But my question is, what would value more, right? Now, let's do a reverse engineering. Tomorrow you go to a website and you see the website is down. Will you stop using it or will you wait for some time,
It'll wait.
right? And if you see that is selling some goods at a very high price, you'll go check the other website and eventually you'll find out that fine, that is giving me less. You'll buy it there. But will you stop using it completely?
No.
No.
Now, if you find out suddenly one day has been breached and hundreds of lakhs of customer data is gone, will you ever use it from that day onwards?
No.
Stop.
So, if you look from a business perspective, which has the highest impact?
Confidentiality.
Because this is me as the owner looking at the three pillars, not as a user. I just have to think now when you do projects also, right? When you have been given multiple tasks, this is where prioritization comes into picture. Okay. If you have been given 2, 3 tasks, yes, all are important, but which one has the highest impact? You will definitely do that work only, right? First, if that has come from the CISO or from the director. Similarly, there are different use cases of integrity. If a doctor has been presented with the wrong patient's data, okay. Now let's talk about a healthcare company. Confidentiality, even if your data breach and all, right? Impact is there. Availability, sometimes hospital machines are not working. Integrity. Imagine there is a patient who has a different disease and the doctor is presented with a different patient's record, and that patient gets treated with a different set of medicine. Imagine the impact. This is where again integrity plays a major role. So every organization, but just try to think, and this is what, when I was doing my CISM certifications, right, this is what it has taught me. Like, every time you'll have all the right answers in front of you, but you have to choose what will bring in the highest impact by trying to think the outcome, not how you would use as a user, but what will be the outcome, what are the different outcome. And if you talk about the tools, right, the reason why I spoke about this three pillar is IAM is based on all these three tools only. For example, let's talk about our, so I'll just, yeah, I think we still have 7 minutes more. Anyways, we have gone past 1 hour, but that's fine. So now let's talk about IAM. Okay, and now move into access management, right? What is access management? Managing the level of access. We'll go further deep down again tomorrow also. Tomorrow also we'll have class. Okay. Access management also, any tool will ensure that there is confidentiality by saying that the data is protected, data is secured, right? It'll make sure it is available, not by default, but if it is Ping Federate, which is an on-prem tool, means you host everything inside your infrastructure, they'll have many servers in different data centers, right? You'll have 3 servers here, 3 servers here. What is it doing? Availability. Integrity, by making sure your data is not tampered, and that is where you have logs enabled. Admins have very high level of privileges. Everything is logged, everything is monitored, just to make sure that the integrity is not moved anywhere here and there. Data is not tampered. And even you can put different systems within each files and folders. If there is a file that has been tampered, it will give you an alert. So even if you have these tools, right, they have to follow the confidentiality, availability, and integrity. And when I said compliance, right, remember, eventually they are also making sure that organization, when they are dealing with data, identity of the user, they have to maintain confidentiality, availability, integrity. And if you break this down into different pieces, actionable tasks, right, that is what the entire compliance is all about. GDPR, what does GDPR do? It ensures that user data is protected, confidential, right? Same with HIPAA also. It makes sure that patient data is confidential, it is not tampered, integrity. It should be available. So when you talk about compliance, it's eventually making sure that the three triads, this is called the triad of cyber information security, is maintained. Now, in the next session, we'll further deep dive into some of the concepts, move into access management, and maybe in a day or two, we'll finally move into the concepts of access management like single sign-on, SAML, OAuth, OpenID. Okay, so with this, I wrap up today's session, and I'll open up 5 minutes for your question, comments, and any inputs, feedback, suggestions.
Ravi, as you mentioned, like Ping Federate is a on-prem tool, so it's tempted to go with cloud now.
Sorry, you just broke up in between. Can you please repeat?
I mentioned is that, like, as you mentioned, like Ping Federate is an on-prem tool, right? So isn't it better like Okta and others are going with cloud, so they should move as well?
Ping Identity already has a Ping One cloud. They have cloud also, they have on-prem also.
Okay. They have.
And we'll cover that
Okay.
also. Yeah, any further questions, comments? So Abhishek,
Who are the market leaders in this case of IAM?
IAM,
Okay.
if you think about the Gartner chart. So Gartner chart categorizes them into again 3 categories. So on the identity governance, it is SailPoint for many years. Access management, Okta, followed by Ping and Microsoft. Then you have in the PAM space, you have CyberArk. These are the different market leaders you have. And there are visionaries. So I want everyone to be a part of this. And even if 15 minutes you're spending talking to people about what we are doing, putting them in, telling them what we are planning out, making them join the session, I am pretty much sure you guys will also have added that value and purpose in your life. Okay. With that, I would want to close today's session. Thank you very much. This was really great to see all of you so interested and enthusiastic to learn. And I'll speak to you tomorrow. Thank you.